Welcome to The Practical Intuitive, where each Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, where host Robin Fritz explores mind, body, and spirit for the real world. Because we are all intuitives and healers, and we must all learn to love ourselves and live that love every day. Robin is a trained and certified intuitive and spiritual consultant and hypnotherapist with an international practice based in Seattle, Washington. As the Practical Intuitive, she covers personal and business intuition, animal communication, mediumship, space clearing, past life regression, shamanic insights, energy healing, soul choice. It's all here. Readings, healings, and funny, warm, thought-provoking conversations. It's Robin Fritz, the Practical Intuitive, helping you mastermind body and spirit for the real world. No ifs, ands, buts, or BS ever.
Welcome to the Practical Intuitive, Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. It's Robin Fritz, and it's a pre-spring day here in Seattle, Washington, March 18th, 2019. So today we're going to talk about using intuition to find your home. And I'll dive into that subject here in a few minutes. But first I want to remind you that my work is about helping you tap your own intuitive and healing abilities, whether it's workshop, webinar, in-person sessions, here on the radio, Facebook Live, whatever it is. I don't know how we lost our intuitive abilities or our belief in them, but we're all working on getting that back, and it is important. And one of the biggest things it's important for is creating a relationship with your home. Our homes are created to nurture and support us, and that is what they will do in an amazing way once you learn to tap into them and tune into them and find out what they're thinking. So as you're learning to tap your own intuitive and healing abilities, remember to have a sense of humor, to keep track of your experiments and your intuition and your healing work, and be part of the community here that OMTimes has created for you. So today, if you have any questions or would like a quick reading on your own home, call in to 202-570-7057. Or if you're shy, please email me at my website, robinfritz.com. That's ROBYNFRITZ.com. Send me a question that I can cover on an upcoming episode. Occasionally I pull a bunch of questions together and go through those. And you're also welcome to contact me at my website for my personal services. But as we get started today, I want to start like I do each time with tuning in to the crystal Fallon. Fallon is a citrine Lemurian quartz, a very rare crystal and an ancient healer and a truth bringer, so a very ancient power crystal, and you can experience him however your intuition works most strongly. So this is a good exercise for you. If you may see pictures, if you're clairvoyant, clair hearing, hear him speak, clair feeling, feel his energy, feel your emotions connected to him, or clair knowing, you simply know that you're connected to him in this time. So if you take your attention to the top of your head, imagine mind, body, and spirit just coming together, boosting you up in this hour, helping you become part of the community, helping you tap into yourself. And as we breathe down from the top of our heads to the bottom of our feet and back up again, imagine the cares of the day washing away so you're more grounded and balanced here in this space. So breathing down the top of your head, your face, your shoulders, your chest, your hips, your knees, and your feet. Just a whoosh of energy. And then back up again, your feet, your knees, your hips, your chest, your shoulders, your face, and the top of your head. Know that you're connected to Fallon in this time with us. And at the end of the hour, we'll close you back down so you're grounded back down in your body. So today's topic, using intuition to find your home. We're talking about the mind, body, spirit aspects of using our innate healing and intuitive abilities to find the home we're looking for, to narrow what we're looking for in a home, to create a better relationship with the home that we're in, and to learn more about what homes think and feel and what they're up to, and how to decide if you have a connection to one or not, and why that works for you or doesn't work for you, and how you figure it out. So, I was just working with a couple clients last week, and I said, you need to create this really solid relationship with your house. Your house is your bulwark, it's your support, it's there to boost you up, to nurture you, to make you feel connected to the world, to re-energize you. It's a place where you relax. It's a place where you investigate what you're going to do for work, what you're going to do to satisfy your curiosity, hobbies, family, friends. Your home is really important to you. But what a lot of people don't realize is how important you are to your home. So here's the thing, and we're going back to the concept of planetary connection. I call it that, but I did not make it up. This is a theory that I learned by working with non-humans over the course of my life. And what I discovered, when you can go out into the world and just sit down and have a connection with a tree, with a sidewalk, with the birds flying by, with your own animals, with the people in your home, you start to realize, as I did, that you can really create a relationship with everything out there, and that most things are out there just waiting for us to say hello. We are not as aware of the connections between all life as the rest of life is. So in that way, we're kind of behind things as humans. But the truth is that all souls are out there doing something. And some souls, when they choose a purpose for a particular lifetime and they incarnate in a particular lifetime, some of them choose to become our homes, or to become a home, to become an apartment or a condo or a house, or whatever it is that is our shelter from the elements, a shelter from the pressures of the outside world. It's really the same thing for a bird that creates a nest. Our homes have chosen this job to grow their soul in that particular way, and they are very focused on that. And one of the things I've learned in my space clearing business over the last however many years it's been is really how complicated the relationship with our homes can be, and how we can be completely clueless about that. And I tend to get calls from people who are having a lot of physical, emotional, work-related issues, and people are saying to them, you might want to look into getting your house cleared too. And it turns out that they've just moved into that home and the problem started, or something's going on next door. A lot of times we can trace our issues to what's going on in our homes. We can also trace the really great things that are going on in our homes. And so I'm talking about space clearing, yes, but I'm also talking about really feeling at ease and comfortable with your home, like it's a real thinking, conscious being, because it is. And thinking about this and thinking about my practice, there are a lot of people out there doing research, and they talk about consciousness, and they say, well, consciousness is connected to cells. Well, but I talk to a lot of dead people, and none of them are in bodies, and they're very conscious, and they're very aware of their previous lifetimes, including the lifetime we're talking about. So it's my experience, and then I talk with weather systems, volcanoes, homes, businesses, even the radio waves of a radio show. Consciousness is tied to souls, is my opinion. And because of that, it's what's going on with that soul that we need to be paying attention to and addressing. So when we're talking about clearing our spaces, we're talking about keeping energy moving. And as we keep energy moving, keep it flowing, we keep the good things happening. We run into issues for ourselves, and our homes run into issues when energy gets blocked. So how does that happen? As you go about your day, you going in and out of buildings, you're going to work, you're going to the grocery store, you're going for a walk, whatever you're doing, you're bringing little bits and pieces of all of the energy of all the places that you've been and all the things you've walked by in home with you. That's just what happens. Consider it the energy, like dust, for example, or just the air that you're walking through. Energy is always flowing around you. So you bring it into your home and it gets there in your home, and then it can have trouble getting out. Why? Because our homes are always trying to create this environment for us that makes us feel comfortable, that makes us feel loved and contained and safe and able to go back out into the world and do our thing, whatever that is. When a house gets its energies blocked for some reason with outside issues, that's where you need to consider space clearing. Also, you consider space clearing when something happens in your family. You adopt a new animal, there's a new birth in the family, someone's married, someone's divorced, someone's graduating from school, all of those kinds of things. But also in particular for today, talking about creating a relationship with our homes is our moving in and out of them. So you're buying a home, you're selling a home, you're moving into an apartment, you're moving out of an apartment, you're remodeling. All of those things are things that change the energy of the space. So the basic thing to think about in the energies of your home is anything that goes on in there affects the energy of the home. Grief, happiness, being tired, being ill, someone dying, someone new coming in, all of those things. What a lot of us aren't realizing is that our homes are out there looking for us. So this is how I discovered this. Some years ago, I've been in my current home, my condominium, for 21 years. And about 10 years into it, I thought, oh, I am looking for a new home. And I called my real estate agent, and she's very patient and kind. And we started looking at homes. And I was finding these homes listing in the newspaper, listing online, and I'd be going through. I didn't know why I was suddenly looking for homes, but I suddenly decided that was it. I needed to move. I was buying a new home. And but that wasn't what was really happening. What was happening was that we would go into a home and I would have a conversation with it, or rather it would be having a conversation with me. Now, since nobody's out there talking about this, at least 10 or so years ago, I was startled and perplexed and like, okay. And because I'm analytical and skeptical and very curious, I started experimenting. So we would go into homes and I would notice things. And at the time I had 2 dogs and a cat, and I wanted a yard for the dogs to run in, and it wanted a way to give them baths that were really easy. And by this point, after going to a number of homes and thinking, oh, this is what my home is, and going in there and like, oh, what's all this about? We were down in the basement of a particular home. It was a daylight basement where you can walk out into the yard. And this very excited voice in my head started yelling, look, I have this beautiful tub you can wash the dogs in. Look at my beautiful yard. The dogs can run in my yard. Oh my gosh. And then the kitchen. Look at how easy it'll be for you to cook. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Well, my real estate agent was looking at me and she's like, Robin, you're not buying a home. She goes, my siblings were tested in a psychic type program. She goes, you're not buying a home. You're doing something else here. And I started realizing I was literally talking to these homes. So it was fascinating So not only was I being lured by a house that had a tub and wanted me to come with my dogs, I was also being turned away by homes. I remember a bright sunny day here in Seattle, standing on the sidewalk outside a home, perfectly calm, not a breath of air, and I'm standing there and I pulled out a flyer for the house and I'm looking at that flyer and my agent is standing in the door with the door open. And the next thing I know, the flyer gets ripped out of my hand, flung on the ground, and the door got slammed in my agent's face. And she looked at me and she said, "That's it. We are not going in this house." And I said, "No, I need to understand why this just happened." So we went in, and by this point, I was becoming aware of what was going on. I introduced myself to the house. I said, "Fine, I understand. You may have a problem with what's going on here, but the people who own you and who live here are moving for reasons I don't know, and they're not going to be able to stay here." And I just paid attention. My eye was drawn to the dark spots, to a little crack in the drywall, to everything that could be potentially wrong with the house. It was just not going to welcome me. But it was fascinating how defensive it was and how much it wanted to keep its own people. And that's really kind of how my space clearing practice, which I call space cooperating practice, was launched. It was how to help people create a relationship with the space they're in so that both the home and the people could be comfortable there. So what space cooperating does, which is different than space clearing, is it finds out what the home needs and wants, what the people in the home need and want by talking to them, talking to the home, and then sitting down and negotiating any changes that need to occur for both sides to be comfortable. Because sometimes, as I explain to homes, people just can't stay there. They just can't be a forever home for them. So after the break, we will talk some more about my experiences and how you can create a better relationship with your home.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio, IOM-FM. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Lisa Berry. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Light on Living, a chance to see new, hear different, and feel more as I shine the spotlight on all the ways to lighten the load of life's challenges. Light on Living is your link to that new way you're looking for, that new understanding that will enhance your life, and that positive connection that will support your growth. So join me and you'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you.
Hi, this is New Age Grammy winner Paul Avgerinos. Thanks for listening to OMTimes Radio, and please support my peaceful healing music with a purchase at iTunes, Amazon, or wherever you shop for fine music. Just put my name into the search engine, Paul Avgerinos. A, V like Victor, G like George, E-R-I-N-O-S. You can also visit me at roundskymusic.com. Thanks for listening, and I'm wishing you the brightest of blessings.
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone.
That should do it.
Way to go, Steve! By simply taking digital pictures of his family's important documents, Steve can always have them stored safely online, no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. It's Robin Fritz, and we're talking about using intuition to find your home. Okay, so I've shared a few early stories of learning to connect with homes. And as I was going through this process, I was discovering why I was going to visit certain houses. I remember one house that I felt really called to go see. And I thought, well, this is my home. And we actually went back twice, because the second time I realized that what was happening was the house was literally dying of mold. Unfortunately, I have this unhappy intuitive ability of being able to know when there's mold in a place. I can walk in a place and I could tell a real estate agent, wow, this place is full of mold. And as you can imagine, it makes me unpopular with real estate agents. But it's useful if you're buying a home, right? So this particular home I went in, I noticed it at first and I thought, well, maybe it's something that's easily fixed because the home hasn't, has been on the market and it's winter time. But the second time I went back, it was because the house asked me to come back to witness its death. And by that point, you can understand that I was really understanding that these homes may be a building that's there on the ground and it's not ever going to move, but it's alive and it has feelings. And this house was grieving its coming death. And so I told the agent to just stay outside, and I went in and I just offered my condolences to the home and said that I was sorry that this was happening to it. And so that gives you an idea of how conscious homes really are. Just like humans, there are some that are more conscious than others, just like there are some humans that walk around clueless and others that are really paying attention to what's going on around them. The same for our homes. But there are things that you can do to understand if, like, this is your home. Have you ever heard someone say, and maybe you've said it yourself, that you walk into a space, you're looking for a new home, and you walk into space and you go, this is it. It feels great in here. And that's what happened when I finally realized that what I was doing was not looking for a new home for myself, but learning to hear the homes that were calling their new people to them. And I had called my agent and said, this is it, this is the house. And she meets me there and she looks at me and she goes, this is not your home. And I'm like, but I'm drawn to it. So I said, I just got to figure out what's going on. So I walked up to the door, and as I literally walked through the front door of the home, I went, oh, this is not my home. And then I thought, I was looking around like, what is going on? Why is this not my home? And then I saw a woman across the room. It was an open house, and she was starstruck. You could see the look on her face. She was just in heaven. And I went, oh, it's not my home. It's her home. So being kind of a pushy person at times, I just walked up to her and I said, congratulations, you just found your home. And she looked at me and blinked and like, I don't know what happened if she ever bought her home. But that's when I realized that one of the things that I could do in the world is help pair up the people in their homes. So when I work with a real estate agent, I will sit down with the home and I will clear the home, energetically clear the home, space clearing, but in a different way, as I said, space cooperating. So what is different between that and space cooperating and regular space clearing or even feng shui is that I'm not going in and forcing the energy to change. I am going in finding out what's happening in that space, just like a doctor would find out what's happening in your body. or an animal or anything like that. It's just going in, introducing myself to the space and finding out what's going on there. What do you need as a home to be your best self? What can you offer in return? Here's what the people here want. And what that does is create less of a barrier between the people in their home than you have if you're just buying and selling. For example, there's a big trend here, at least in the Pacific Northwest, California, Nevada, of even up in Canada, buyers coming from overseas. They load them into buses, they drive around in neighborhoods, and they bid on houses from the sidewalk. And I think, oh my gosh, it's a money deal for them. It's an investment opportunity. But what happens next? Who's going to live in these places? And how are they going to live there? And of course, you're all familiar with the big economic downturn we had back in 2008, 2009. And how many homes here, even here in the Seattle area, that sat empty for a very long period of time. Empty, unloved, and feeling unwanted. And as a result, things happen. A lot of portals opening and little beings coming out of the ground. Things really, when a house sits empty, it's calling whatever it can to inhabit it and be a home for whatever is out there. And it's also depressing to live in a neighborhood where their homes are empty. So how can you avoid that? Well, one of the things is learn how your intuition works. Learn how you can understand what your intuition is telling you versus your personal beliefs, your experiences, and your desires. So say you're apartment hunting or you're looking for a new home. Are you interested in a particular neighborhood? Why or why not? For a lot of people, it's very practical. It's a school district for their kids. For others, it's a part of the country they want to live in. For me, buying my condo, it was living by the ocean in Seattle. I can look out and see the ocean day or night whenever I want. It's not unobstructed, but it's still the ocean, right? I can see it. I live here. I can smell it. I can be part of that healthy energy. But it took me a long time to figure out where I was going and why. But what you can do is look at the place you're done, like that woman whose face was just lit up by how excited she was by the house that she walked into. She knew on a very basic level that that was her home. Now, can we make a mistake in that? Sure. We can see something about it that we like, maybe the garden, maybe how the living room is set up, maybe the kitchen, whatever. And we can go, okay, wow, this is what I was really looking for. But when you're really out there looking, take a deeper look. Walk into a space, close your eyes, and introduce yourself. Say, hey, my name is, whatever your name is. I'm looking for a home that can do this and that and this and that, and I want to feel comfortable. I want to be able to create art here. I want to write a book here. I want to bring in some animals. Whatever it is that you want to do, tell the home. And then as you walk around and look at it, analyze what you're getting back from it, because you are getting something from it. Your intuition is always working. As I said, my goal is to help people learn how to use their intuition, because it's always working. It's always giving you information. The problem is, what is the information you're getting? What question is it answering? And by actually trying to create this relationship with your home, you can get an answer on that and find out what it's up to and what it needs. And it may be something like the house that merely needed a witness to its death from mold, or a house that's looking for something else and maybe you're just one step along the path. One of the things that houses really are mystified a lot about is, as I explain to almost every house I visit, that as a rule, a well cared for home can live a lot longer than the average human. And they need to understand then that they may not hold an entire family for the entire life of the house. And that means they need to be taking care of the people there. The homes need to be taking care of their people that are living there. But they also need to be more realistic about lifespans. In some ways, I kind of think of it in the same way as we think about bringing animals into our families, knowing that animals just don't have the same lifespan that we do. Then explain to the home what it is you're looking for and why. So some years ago, I had a young, vibrant woman who's creating a healthy skincare line, and not just for beauty, but for healthy skin. Really very creative person, just an amazing idea of a business that would help people and also, provide for her needs. And she bought a little houseboat, and she was having issues. She'd gotten involved in some shamanic things and felt like she'd brought some attachments home with her. So she'd met me somewhere and decided that she wanted me to come and clear her houseboat. That was so much fun and so hilarious because I'm taking Fallon in his suitcase, and we're trying to get this suitcase onto this tiny, tiny houseboat on the lake here in Washington. And, trying not to drop the suitcase into the ocean or to the lake, get it into the boat. But there we're in the houseboat in this tiny, tiny little space. And she's loving the houseboat, and she's loving her space there. And the house is loving her. And she was an artist, and she was creating not just labels for her skincare line, but artwork as a creative outlet, but also that's just who she was. She was an artist. And the houseboat, while we were in the process of clearing out the energies of the people who'd lived there before, so what we doing was creating a clean slate, a clean energy thing, telling the home that we're helping release the energies of the people who were here. We're honoring them. We're thanking them for having been here. Now we're clearing out those energies, whatever good things and bad things that happened, creating a clean slate to work on. And now here is this person, and this is what she wants. And the houseboat was just so excited. Even my client could feel this vibrant little bouncy energy of this houseboat. And she's looking at me and her eyes are wide, and we're kind of laughing because the houseboat was just really happy. And it said, you want to do art, you want to create art. She goes, use my walls, use my floors, use my ceilings as a canvas for your art. And I think we both cried. It was just so beautiful and just so amazing. And when you think about it, that's the kind of relationship we want with our homes, right? Where it's out there trying to support us, and we're out there trying to support it, and magic happens. Because that's what it really is magic. Now, our ancestors knew this. And even today, there are cultures around the world that haven't lost that connection with their homes as a living entity. A thing that we did kind of lose is our equal relationship with the things around us, including our homes. So that's why I talk to people about space cooperating as opposed to space clearing. You don't want to go into a place and force the energies to change, force the home to conform to what you want, because it may not be in the home's best interest. And so you're saying, well, I don't care, it's my best interests that are important. Well, that could be true. It is true. That's why you're buying that house or moving into it or remodeling or whatever you're doing. But the truth is, if the space that you're living in isn't totally on board, you're not going to be your best in that space. So it is in your best interest as well to make sure that the space that you're living in is totally on board with you being there. And that's why you sit down and you have a conversation with it. You find out what's going on, and you find out how you can negotiate change. So here's an example. Some years ago, I had a client who had to leave the home that he was in. He got a divorce, and his new wife did not want to be in the house where the previous wife was. Understandable, right? But he'd spent a lot of time and money creating this beautiful home, and he was feeling really bad. He didn't really want to leave the home. Well, we went through together, the two of us, to clear his home. And as I'm walking through the home, I'm listening to the house, and I'm going, well, this is the room that you were going to put children in. And he winced, like, how did you know that? This is the room, because the house was empty, right? I said, well, it's just what I'm getting from the house. So this house is grieving. It's grieving the loss of this family, and it doesn't want them to go. And the house had not sold. It had been on the market for a year and a half. So we created a ceremony of separation, and he cried and the house cried. And we said, I'm sorry, but this happens sometimes with people. Sometimes they just have to leave. So home, you have two choices. One is you can sit here and grieve and hang on to this family that cannot and will not live here. Or you can let go, say goodbye, and call a new family to you. And that's what the house decided to do, to call a new family to it. And it showed me what it wanted. It wanted children. It wanted a couple. It wanted lots of people in the house, and it was certainly big enough for that. And the house sold in about 6 weeks in a tough market because it was properly cleared, the energy was there, and the house had realized it couldn't hold on to its people, so it had to call a new home to. So after the break, I'm going to share some more ideas with you about how you can work with the energies of your home. Hang on, and we'll be right back.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers, and researchers pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Hi, this is recording artist and composer Yuval Ran, inviting you to a voyage through the chakras, a new double album of guided meditations to transform your life, a sublime musical medicine for nourishing inner peace and reaching to your higher virtues. Get it now at metamindfulnessmusic.com, METTA mindfulnessmusic.com.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 31 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. It's Robin Fritz, and we're talking about using intuition to find your home. Okay, so you may not be moving anytime soon, and that's fine. You can still create a great relationship, and you should be creating a deeper and better relationship with your home. So this show is about how you do that by inspiring you with stories of how it worked for other people. So when you think about it, when you're looking at a home, whether you're moving in new, whether you're selling, remodeling, or there's just something that's gone on in the family, a good thing or a bad thing, a birth, a death, a divorce, a new living arrangements, whatever. I recommend that people clear their homes every month after they pay their bills, or whatever works for them. Now, what does that involve? On a regular basis, I keep sea salt in all my rooms. I love Himalayan salt lamps. When clients are here, I have my Himalayan salt lamps going, my lights on my jade tree. I have a little fountain, which is kind of unnecessary since I live across the street from a beach that you can hear. But it's still running water in the home. I keep bunches of lavender around the house. Lavender is great clearing. It's also beautiful. It lasts all year, except for when my stinky cat eats it. But that's my problem between me and my cat. And find a way to honor your home every single day. And definitely when you do these clearings. Now, you can learn how your intuition works by looking at that salt every day or once a week and going, oh, that salt needs to be refreshed. It's done. It's used up. Flush it down the sink and put new salt out. You're learning to connect with the energies of your home. You can use incense. I do because I like the incense. It creates additional ceremony. The house wakes up and, oh, wow, there's going on here. Got to pay attention. And incense is also part of a natural clearing device, so it will help create the ceremony and create clearing for you in the home. And as you're going through your home, just check out each room. What's happened in that room? What do you need to let go of emotionally? What do you need to welcome in emotionally? Mind, body, spirit here, people. Mind, body, spirit. What does that mean to you on a level of your bathroom, your bedroom, your extra bedrooms? For me, an office. The living area, your kitchen area, the doors in and out, plant life that you have, the animals, all of you need to be cleaned or cleared energetically with the space. If whatever you're doing in that space, explain it to your home, saying, okay, I'm going to vacuum you today, I'm going to clean you. Or we're remodeling, we're putting in a new kitchen, or we're putting in new carpeting, or we're changing the flooring, or I'm buying new plants. It's springtime. Yesterday, it's, the first kind of nice weekend we've had here in Seattle after being startled and overwhelmed by weeks of snow, which is not normal for us, snow and cold weather. And I was out on the deck cleaning up the deck from the winter time and, just welcoming that change of seasons and inviting the house to participate in that. So when you consider your house as part of that overall connection of who you are in the world, mind, body, and spirit, how you relate to the world around around you. Welcome that supportive energy that is surrounding you in your home, and help it be the support that you need, and you be the support that it needs. Because yes, they're created to nurture and support us, but they need us there helping them. Imagine if you did your job and you had to work with people all day long, but you were trying to have a conversation and no one could hear you. No one paid any attention to you. No one listened to what you wanted. That's what happens in most of our homes. We're not listening to what they need or want from us. We're not listening to what they're offering us. And we're missing out. And I know people have said, Robin, that is so bizarre. And I said, just try it. Just try it. And you'll find out how amazing it is. So the people who do feng shui, I honestly don't understand it in its current form. But in its ancient form, I believe it was very much like what I'm talking about here. These people understood that we needed to create a relationship with the land around us, including the buildings that we created to live in. And that's what they were doing, creating relationships with the souls of the place around them, the land, the soul of the land, the soul of the building that we created on it. And then from those times on, we come down to, well, you need this in that corner and that in that corner. And what you really need is, why do I want to be in this house? What is it going to do for me? And what am I going to do for it? And how can you both become better as a result? Your soul, the house's soul, your family's souls. And I can promise you that there's nothing better than having this really wonderful relationship with the home that you live in. So understand, in a rental space, you've got a few more issues going on. They tend to turn over really rapidly. They aren't, some of them have just given up on having people there long term because they see people coming and going. So if you're in a rental situation where that's happened to you before, or you're planning to be in a rental situation, it doesn't mean you can't have a close relationship with a home. Simply explain to it, I'm here for at least the next year. How can we have fun together? How can we grow and learn together? How can you nurture me and how can I nurture you? And listen for whatever response you get. So here's this, I'm going to tell you a story about house clearing, but it goes to the age of a home too. I cleared a house once for a couple, and I was just startled by the house's response. It was literally panicking that this couple was leaving, and it was clear that the husband of the relationship just did not want to leave the home, but they had to. They just had to. There were some job issues, and they just couldn't afford it anymore. And finally, I realized what the problem was. It was a brand new house. They were the first owners, and the house was like a young kid. It had no idea of what was going to happen to it. It thought that its life was over. These people were leaving. It hadn't done its job properly. Oh my gosh, what I had to go through to reassure that home that, hey, you need to let go of these people. Another family will come in, and that's just how humans are. And it's part of your growth cycle as a soul who's in a home to learn how this works. That was interesting. But then you have the really old homes, the homes where things have been there for a long period of time, or a series of homes I've been clearing recently that are over 100 years old. And you're going in and you're peeling back the energies, going back through time and looking at not only what happened in a home, but I'm thinking of a particular mansion that I cleared recently, and I'm standing there with the owners and I'm looking out over the neighborhood and I'm going, oh, well, there are a lot of big homes here in the neighborhood, but this particular home was the leader of the entire neighborhood. Everyone, all the other homes are looking up to it for how to react to the people around them and in them and in the neighborhood. And the people in that home over there are going to be very skeptical of you and not very supportive. And so they were laughing like they were going to go and take cookies to these people in the skeptical household. So I get an email saying, yeah, Robin, you were really right about that home. This is, we went to take cookies and they had a sign on the lawn that said, mail carrier, do not step on the lawn. She goes, we knew they were home and they wouldn't answer the door when we knocked. So it gives you an idea, doesn't it, that it isn't just your home either. It's the neighborhood. So if you're out looking for a new place to live, or you're living in a rental, I'm living in a condominium, so I have to relate with the owners and the other units in the overall building. So there's multiple souls within one larger soul. So that can get really confusing. So the thing of it is, find a space that you feel good in, that you feel meets your needs, ask it what it needs, and go from there. There are times when I've had a house tell me that it doesn't want another family. One home told me it wanted an older woman and a cat. So a real estate agent was like, what the heck did I hire you for, Robin? But directing her attention to what the house wanted, the home sold faster. And it hadn't sold up to that point. So interesting, to find out what these places want. They have opinions just like we do. So I want to leave you with a story, a wonderful story of how people can connect to their homes and how you can, when you think about it, mind, body, and spirit. There was a couple who hired me to clear a home. It was their first home purchase after many years of moving around the world with the military. And they were so excited about this home. And it was old. It was 100 years old. And it was just amazing. So as I was getting ready to go clear it, for the week before I went, I kept hearing rabbits, rabbits, rabbits. And I'm like, what the heck do rabbits have to do with this house? So I show up for the clearing, and first thing I find out is we're on the third floor in a room, and as I turned away from the window back into the room, I literally walked into an open portal. Well, long story short, portals are dimensional energy shifts, and I literally almost fell over from the shock of it. And as I backed away, the house said, yeah, can you believe they built me on that thing? I've been dizzy for 100 years. And I laughed and I said, okay, well, we'll close it down here. But yes, I can believe that because nobody in this country understands things like that. So I'm sitting with the owners. We have cleared the whole place. I've actually pointed out to them where the previous kitchen was when the home was first built, and they looked it up on the plans, and sure enough, that was where the kitchen was. But here's the really cool part. I sat down and I said, well, I keep hearing rabbits when I'm talking to this house for the last week. And I said, so it's wintertime, but when spring comes, maybe you should pay attention to your garden. Maybe there's a lot of bunnies in the neighborhood and you're going to have your garden eaten by bunnies. And they're looking at me and I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, that's just not quite right. So I looked at them and I said, I'll tell you what. I said, tell me what rabbits mean to you. And they smiled. And they had bought, on a travel, they had bought a picture that had rabbits in it. And they adored that picture. And they couldn't stop talking about how they wanted to get all of their furniture in so they could put up this picture of the rabbits. And as soon as they said that, I went, oh my God, that's it. Because the house was like literally dancing in my head. I was trying to tell you, the rabbits, they love the rabbits. And the house was excited to welcome them and their love of rabbits. So I hope it's a hilarious story, but it just really solidified the clearing. These people were thrilled. The house was thrilled. And it was telling them that you're bringing rabbits that picture, I'm your home. I'm so excited to welcome you here to live in me. And they were so excited to hear that. And if I hadn't brought up the whole rabbit thing, I would not have known that. Somehow they would have connected because they were really connected to that house. They had created a real partnership. And that's what you want, is a partnership with your home. So find ways to do that. Find how your intuition works so you can connect with your house. Keep those energies clear. And let me know what your experiences are. You can email me at my website, robinfritz.com. That's ROBYNFRITZ.com. But I promise you, the deeper and better the relationship with your house, the better you will be all around, mind, body, and spirit, at home and at work, because that's their job, to help us be our best. And take advantage of that, and then help them be their best by honoring their needs and wants. So thank you for joining me today. I have moved my show to twice a month, the first and third Mondays of the month. In April 1st, we're going to be talking about how to intuitively create a garden. April 15th, how to talk with your own animals. So hands on your heart, cross your hands on your heart, take a deep breath, close down that crown chakra with connection with Fallon. If you'd like to work with me, I offer personal and business intuition, mediumship, animal communication, space cooperating, past life and between life regression, soul progression clearing, all to help you be your best. Thank you for joining me. Take care, and we'll see you on April 1st.